and Bernard Hopkins lost to Kovalev that day.
Yes. And
AC.
Outlaw fought too on that card. Yes.
Yeah,
I remember.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, in terms of how I started, it's a long story. I mean, I've been involved in boxing for a long time. Since I was a kid, I fought a ton of amateur fights. My brother was signed to Don King for 4 years, so I traveled with him a lot. So I learned a lot about the business being around Don King and my brother. So, but about 10 years ago, me and my close friend Hitch, who's an artist out of New Jersey, a hip hop artist, we got an opportunity to talk about hip hop on a little small internet station. And I started talking about boxing on a hip hop show just because, it's something that I've always had a passion for. Kind of turned into something. It got to the point where I started to enjoy talking about it more often. And hey, what's up? And it grew legs. And the biggest, then we went to a bigger internet station. And then in 2015, Barak, who's my co-host now, he's been involved with us for years. Been a creative writer and very knowledgeable about boxing. We got an opportunity on Sirius XM in 2015 to do a show once a week. And so me and Barack started on there. So that's when, about 6 years ago, is when it started to get serious on a higher level. And then we started working with 50 Cent a year after that. We worked with him for 2 years on This Is 50, where we created a boxing show. And it became a very popular show on This Is 50. Even though that's a hip-hop platform, a lot of fight fans went there to watch our show. And obviously, for those who know Dazn, in 2018, Dazn, they reached out and they liked what we did, and then they offered us a deal on Dazn to host our own show on there. So that's pretty much how I ended up on TV.
Awesome. How is it working over there?
It's a great place. I mean, Dazn allows us to be us.
Yeah.
We've never been biased. For those that think that we're biased with Canelo because we're on Dazn, no, we like Canelo. We really that good.
He is. I mean, that's what it is.
It's not about, look, and I'll address this because, you get a lot of people that really don't know the history about AK and Barak. When we've always been Al Heyman supporters. All the young fighters that Al represented, when Al was being sued by these other companies, we let the fans know. We gave them insight about how much he takes care of his fighters, and we supported all fighters. So if you see me showing love to Canelo, it doesn't mean that I haven't shown love to all the fighters that deserve it. You know what I mean? Yes, Canelo's a personal friend of ours, and we know him more than the average fan does. So if it's my boy, I'm gonna go a little hard because I know something.
Of course, everybody does.
I don't care about being biased.
Yeah.
I've never hid from that. I tell people when these fans on Instagram say, "Are you biased?" I say, "I am.
Yeah,
I'm human."
That's right.
I don't give it.
That's right.
Danny's my man, DSG. I'm a ride with him. I'm a boxing analyst, journalist, but I'm still a human being at the end of the day. Right? So I'm passionate about people that I have a relationship with. So, but as far as like Dazn, like even while being on Dazn, we've had fighters from every platform, every promotional company, every network on the show. And we've never been told by the network where you can't talk to this guy, you can't talk to that guy, even though that's been done to us, where certain guys, certain promoters have said, no, you can't go on the AK and Barak show because they're on Dazn. We broke that barrier down. If you go earlier last year, we were on the Ring magazine that did a big article. It's called Smashing Walls and Building Bridges. It talks about that, how we try to separate that whole divided line. So we don't have those issues. From Danny and all Al Heyman's fighters been on our show, and ESPN, Loma, Tyson Fury, everybody. So that's where we stand. Where we want no boundaries. We're gonna talk boxing. We're gonna be honest about it, and we're gonna if we are repping like Tank Davis, we were on the broadcast for the Ryan Garcia fight, and you would think people want us to talk Devin Haney and Ryan because they're both Dazn fighters. Barack on the broadcast said, "Hey, I want to see the Tank fight." So
Yeah.
AK and Barak is never going to give you no BS ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So 2021.
Just had to say that. I had to say that to some people that have been popping shit. That's all.
I mean, whatever. They pop shit about me too. Who cares? So 2021. How you see this year going in boxing? Like, what's some fights you want to see? It's, name the top 3 fights you want to see this year.
The top 2 fights, man. I mean, if God gets us past this COVID, man, and
No.
we're all right, I honestly want to see Canelo and Caleb Plant,
Okay.
because a lot of people feel like Caleb is the guy that's going to beat Canelo. I don't agree with that. You know what
Me
I'm saying?
neither. He's not gonna beat him, but
Yeah,
yes.
he's
No.
not. And then it's honestly, all due respect to Plant, he's a hell of a fighter,
I like him.
but he hasn't beaten even a Class B fighter yet. Let alone an A fighter, right? Not to say that he can't, but you can't rate this guy that high and even have that type of discussion with a guy like Canelo, who's obviously, his resume speaks for itself, right? No question about that. But the fight besides that is Jamal Charlo, who I think will probably pose the most threat to Canelo.
Okay.
Size, his jab, and he obviously shown that he can take a punch. So that fight I want to see. In terms of smaller guys, I don't see any fight in the lightweight division. Lightweight division is
It's
popping
popping right now, right?
everybody.
Okay.
Whether Tank, Tiafimo, Ryan, Tank, Devin, Tank, any of those 4 guys entertaining with each other is epic right now for boxing. That's what I need to see. You know what I mean?
So we know Ryan's. Obviously everybody knows that who knows boxing knows that he wants Tank. So how do you see that fight going?
I'll say this: like, I think you would have to give the edge to Tank because he makes, I guess, less fundamental mistakes, right? And he's obviously has a ton of power. But boxing is so unpredictable. Like, one thing I learned about Ryan, he got a ton of heart. He's a great kid. He's confident. You know what I mean? He knows what he wants, right? He wants to retire at 26 years old, so that's why he wants to call
What's
over.
up?
You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be as easy as people think for Tank, because Ryan, he throws punches from angles. He has power and speed. He just has to stay away from Tank, getting in that space. And Tank can fight. Tank is one of my favorite fighters in boxing.
Mine too.
Even though it's so tough to get his ass on the damn show.
Who you please?
But I still support Tank, and I won't give a prediction on that fight. It's gonna be a hell of a fight, explosive.
Yeah, absolutely,
Sure.
absolutely. So what about I'm just gonna throw some names out there. Tio and Haney, they fight. You like that fight?
Yeah, I like that fight,
I
and
do too.
I would have to give the edge to Tiafimo on that fight. I'm not saying that Devin, I won't be surprised if Devin wins. It's a 50-50 fight, but I'm saying if I had the edge, I probably would edge towards Tiafimo because he has shown more power, right? More explosive.
Yeah, yes.
Devin is still a phenomenal fighter, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. Where's your boy at? Where's Barack?
Barak is, we just had like an early dinner a couple of hours ago.
That's nice.
We signed to Barack, Big Yo, my man Mark from Boxing Memes. Black.
Nice.
We had a little powwow, get 2021 started on the right track.
Nice.
But he's home with the kids now. Barack's a father of 4, so.
Oh wow, how's your son doing? Does he box?
He trains, but he doesn't. My son is a model, like an actor.
I see him.
he's done a bunch of stuff.